once you've accepted the possibility that we live in a simulation, you have to accept the possibility that there's no such thing as evolution because there's no such thing as living creatures made out of blood and bone and flesh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what if the simulation was created by completely digital beings who just created this fun little game where they can go inside and pretend to be people, humans, these bipedal, hairless monkeys, and they like to race cars and have cocktails and go to dinner and look into the camera and have podcasts. But strictly speaking, you know nothing, not only about the nature of your own simulation, but what the baseline world actually
Mm-hmm.
is. Maybe there was never molecular life or
Right.
biological life. So, and then if you're saying that, yeah, but in the sim, evolution's a thing, I'm like, come on. That's not how, coding would work. Like, not only does there not have to be a past for evolution to have occurred, it's like if you go out in your backyard with a shovel and start digging, and if you found something, that wasn't there until you started digging, right? Why would the computer be using resources to
Mm-hmm.
put something there until you went to discover it? Do you think they're actually going to backfill an entire jillions of years for single-celled organisms to evolve into it's ridiculous. Come on, use your head. Once you're in a simulation, just slow down about deep historical facts.
Right. So a bunch there. So one quick thing I want to make sure I don't lose sight of in what you just said is it right? That move that some of them were making is to say, okay, Bob, fine. We get your point that maybe our conscious experience and the history of the universe that we perceive in this simulation. I get why you'd say evolution isn't true in this realm or dimension or whatever you want to call it, plane of existence.
Yeah.
But there must have been beings that created the simulation and they obviously evolved. And so I said, okay, if you're going to make that move though, at least do me a favor and stop pretending you're being empirical. But no, it's just you can sit in your armchair and logically deduce evolution must have happened because number one, I'm sure there's not a God, at least the way he is depicted, by Christians or whatever. And so there's not special creation. And then number two, it had, conscious beings exist. And three, they must have emerged from unconscious things. And so four, something like the Darwinian story has to be true because that's the only possible explanation. The very fact that we're sitting around here wondering where did life come from means Darwin's basically right. And, no one would say it exactly as glibly as I just did, but a lot of them, that's clearly what's driving it. When they say things like you say,
Sure.
well, the beings that created the simulation, they came about through evolution. Well, how do you know?
Exactly.
How do you possibly know? Or at least, okay, so just admit that it's, as a priori as Austrian economics is. Stop thinking you were being empirical. And man, these Bible thumpers refuse to even just confront the evidence.
Yeah, it's